Hey, and welcome to another installment of Catching Up with Just Fuck. Okay.
All right.
It's been 2 weeks.
yeah.
Hey, and welcome to another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And we're back with whole hell of a lot of stuff that we've done. Wedding season, con season's officially begun, and Josh saw some movies. Yeah. So, without much further ado, so here we are. If you don't know already, we record, right outside our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, and in our largest comic book convention, the Awesome Con, was here.
Homemade convention.
Homemade, in fact.
Kick-started.
Third, only the third year we've had it, and
now it's in like the big basement convention hall.
it is, yeah.
The exponential growth every single year.
Me and Jake went the first year, and it was just in those side halls, and then
That was a hell of a story, though, in its own right.
Oh yeah, well, yeah,
We paid
for a 2-dayer
a
because they sold out of.
and we were there for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I got 2 issues of Batman Year One. So
I completed some of the Rocketeer stuff, but it
Yeah.
was just that. I mean, that's how kind of like I think they didn't even realize how big it was going to be and how crazy it got.
Yeah, it sold out, or it came. The first Awesome Con was the weekend that Daft Punk released "Get Lucky."
Oh yeah, the single. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all we listened to.
Yeah, remember we
to
drove
from.
all the way there listening to it because I had a CD.
Yeah,
of just
of
that.
that track.
I drove all the way there.
A CD single.
That's right.
I haven't seen one of those in ages.
Well, I mean, I just put it on a blank disc, but like
Okay.
So much extra space.
I drove all the way. We drove all the way there. I mean, to the metro, and drove all the way back. And remember when we were driving back? What happened?
Yeah, because it was also 420.
Yeah, we drove back, and there was like, some cars were stopping ahead of us, and there was no reason to be stopping because it wasn't a light or anything. And we stop, and we get there, and there's a guy walking just like with groceries, looking like out of his mind, right? And we stop because he's standing right in front of our car, and we can't go anywhere. And we had to like hit the brake, and he looks over at us, and I remember I was like, I had to look like my face, like what the fuck, dude? And he takes out his phone and takes a picture of us, and just kept walking.
Yeah. So somewhere on his phone, he's got
I think you were giving him the finger.
×2.
Yeah, there you go.
But with a big shit-eating grin on my
Yeah.
face, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're an asshole.
Yeah.
That's
So
my
I feel
style.
like everything you do is with a shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Even like eating shit.
Especially
Eating shit. But and then Chris and I went to Awesome Con last year, which was in the upper level of the convention center.
Mhm.
And
Pretty swanky. I
yeah.
met Carrie Elwes.
Yeah. You got him to sign your copy of Princess Bride.
Yep.
Of course.
And I talked about Psych with him.
Yeah, because he's Despero.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of the better recurring characters. Him and I guess the Yin and Yang.
Yeah.
At that point, I think Psych was still on the air.
It had just canceled.
Oh, okay, right. And then, of course, this year, like Chris was saying, it's even bigger. It's in the lower levels of the convention hall.
It was in all three, like halls A, B, and C downstairs. Which, if anyone's been there, that's like where they have the car show. And it's just huge down there.
Yeah, and you got to. I mean, last year you got to meet the 2 of the Power Rangers. You got to meet the elusive Red Ranger this year.
I did, yes. This is one of his first conventions that he's done, like just period. Because I guess he just doesn't like conventions. Well, I mean, and I think he's been busy, like actually having like a real life outside of Power Rangers because he's like an EMT and whatnot, and he helped out the Marines. So he was at the convention this year, and I got to meet him, and I got to talk about how cool it was that, when I was growing up, there was this really cool character on TV who was from this area. He grew up in Alexandria, and he still lives here. And just being able to, like, kind of shoot the shit with him about that, and, like, just, he seemed genuinely excited to see people who were still fans of the show, and it was great. And this was the first year that I had my Power Rangers Laserdisc, so I got the two actors who had been in the movie, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. I got them to sign that, and then I got a photo op with all 4 of them, and I like held it up like it was my morpher, and they all had their helmets, and it was a really cute picture.
Morphin' time.
Exactly.
And you also got to hang out with some of the Kevin Smith regulars.
Yeah. I spotted Brian O'Halloran, who plays Dante in Clerks, and he has a couple cameos in some of the other movies as well. And then Jason Mewes of Jay and Silent Bob fame was there as well, and I happened to have laser discs for both Clerks and Mallrats, and I got them to sign those, and both of them were just like, oh man, I remember Laserdiscs. We used to always hang out at Kevin's house and just watch Laserdiscs because he's all about them. And Jay just was like, that's how I saw all the X-Files, because he like was a huge fan of the show. And I was like, I am in the midst of an X-Files rewatch right now. And we kind of, gabbed about X-Files for a little bit, and it was really cool. And like as I was walking away, I hear Jay yelling, dude, bro, and I turn around and he's like holding up Clerk's Laserdisc from the girl behind me. So I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then and I got to meet Michael Biehn too.
Kyle Reese.
Oh, I wish I don't have the first Terminator on Laserdisc, but I do have Aliens on Laserdisc.
Right.
So I got him to sign that. And then he talked about how he's in talks with Ridley Scott's people to be in the new direct sequel to Aliens that they're trying to get off the ground.
With Neil Blomkamp?
Yeah. I think Ridley Scott's like tied on to be like a producer.
Yeah. I think he's busy after he does The Martian. He's busy with whatever the sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah. But like he's like I'm like 95% in it. Like there's just a couple things that still need to be hashed out, but otherwise I'm totally excited for it. I know Sigourney's back in, so might be fun. And I think like an adult version of Newt is going to be in it as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to get the same girl because that's the only movie that she's done is the Aliens.
Kind of like the feral kid from Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went back to being feral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just living in Australia. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Being the leader of his tribe.
Yeah.
It's the last time he saw the Road Warrior.
Yeah. I got to so a couple months ago, I got to go to Philadelphia and meet George Takei and Walter Koenig and Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek the original series. And by the way, get well soon, Nichelle.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, so sad to hear that she's having some medical issues right now.
Yeah, she looked like she was in poorer health when I saw her, and so even if you don't listen to this, because I don't know why you would, but
You should.
But just know that get well soon from all of us.
Yeah.
I got to meet Shatner.
Nice.
That's the big one.
That's the big remaining. That's the only remaining one. I've met the entire surviving cast of the original series now.
Well, I remember I saw your status like the day that it happened. I was like down in Georgia and I saw it. And I was just like, "Good for you, Sam. Good for you. It happened."
Good.
Yeah, I could tell. Like like you were saying in the post too. Like, you obviously you're a fan of all kinds of things, but you don't go like fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like even I'm trying to think like an example. I don't know, like
just like spreading my ass cheeks over
Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Grant Morrison would be crazy. But I mean, I don't know. When we've been around cons and stuff, we met Mark Waid. I mean, I know how much you're a Mark Waid fan, but you weren't just like, they're fucking Mark Waid, just like a very.
I got to talk to him online.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I could tell like the Shatner thing was like a huge freaking deal.
Well, it's Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk for me is like
and T.J. Hooker.
And T.J. Hooker, and the Priceline Negotiator, and Denny Crane.
Yeah.
And what was he
the
on?
guy from Mark Slocum ads?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is
his
he
most
in?
famous role?
Yeah. What is he in Third Rock? He's
Wasn't he their like Supreme Leader
the
or
big
something like that?
giant head.
Yeah, the big giant head.
Yeah, that's just his character's name, because that's what he is.
And whatever he was from Tech War.
The creator. Captain Kirk. Here, I don't think you guys are going to agree with me when I say this. I would rather have the Enterprise than the Millennium Falcon.
I mean, the Millennium Falcon gets into like way more dangerous shit. I mean, they're just like flopping around.
That's this hunk of junk in the galaxy.
Yeah, you got like a pirate, basically a pirate. You're just who gives a shit? Like flying around. Like you're gonna get more to do on the Enterprise. It's cleaner. And
it's a giant starship.
And they're not looking for like trouble. You know what I mean? And it's their
just
thing.
Exploring.
Yeah. So I can totally see that.
Well,
I can
one
totally
serves like an actual purpose. Like the ship's built for transport of goods. The Enterprise is just a ship that exists and goes places and does stuff.
It's an exploratory.
Yeah,
and has like diplomatic missions occasionally, and
But
With
yeah,
the
it was like a
community.
ship built with like every purpose in mind.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I can
because
imagine you'd have more fun with something like that than like, oh, I gotta,
and it's got a hollow deck.
Yes.
as opposed to like a gigantic U-Haul through space.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Star Trek over Star Wars because I don't even know the answer to that debate in my own heart of hearts.
But you're getting ship specific, which is completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have more fun on the Falcon, but that's more so the Star Wars over Star Trek
Yeah.
in my heart, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the Falcon always feels like, especially in what always bummed me about Empire. In Empire Strikes Back, the ship doesn't ever fucking work until the very end. It's just like, this was so
it's
wide.
a hunk of junk.
Yeah. It's just fine in Jedi and New Hope, but like, and I presume the Force Awakens, but yeah, I don't know. Captain Kirk is one of those figures that I grew up with. Like, even though, and we talked to Corey about this months and months ago. Even though Spock was always kind of the cool one, it's Captain Kirk. You know, there is no Star Trek without Captain Kirk, and that's maybe why I have sour feelings about Generations. Like, I saw Generations in theater and I enjoy it up until Kirk dies, and I'm like, like, it's like the most anticlimactic like end to that character, and I feel like the writers kind of have since come forward. But anyway, I got to meet him. I got to I got to talk to him. Jake was kind of alluding to when I had talked to him about it off mic. He's been doing this for about 50 years, so
He's seasoned pro.
well, he's not like he's not as engaging as, say, Takei.
Did he just sit there and go, it's a movie, guys?
No,
It's a TV show.
Get a life.
Well, that's what he said at the end of his panel.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And that's
classic.
famously said that at Saturday Night Live.
That's-
Yeah. But I mean, he says it like with a kind of a wink and a
Yeah,
smile.
yeah.
That was a good
This time
documentary,
anyway.
too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's kind of become one of his catchphrases.
Yeah,
as
it's-
being an
it's-
individual of who he is.
Well,
now.
it's because it like was such a controversial thing to say when he first said it,
yeah.
and I feel like that was the only time that he said it with any sort of monicum of sincerity.
Yeah. Well, and he also says it like it's an SNL skit.
Yeah,
The
that's
first
Yeah.
time he says it.
Yeah.
It was cool meeting Captain Kirk. I mean, William Shatner. He was kind of like he's kind of been there, done that, so he wasn't as engaging. With George Takei, I got to talk to George Takei a bit after, because I saw him again at this con. I got to talk to him a bit after the photo op, and my father actually got to ask him a question at the panel, and he's like, "Oh," because he recognized my father when we did the photo op, and he's like, "Oh, no one's ever asked me that before," which was cool. But Shatner was just kind of like, I was like, "Hey, how's it going, Mr. Shatner?" And he was just like, "Oh, it's going good, Sam." Or not? He doesn't know my fucking name.
You're slipping in the fantasy territory.
Yeah.
here.
As if I've known him.
You're
He's known me
you're
my
sitting
entire.
there like, you know my name.
Yeah, he was just, it's good. All right, picture, cool. All right, bye. But
I was a little sad at how quick the cavalcade for the pictures were.
was
Like,
and
I
was it
figured-
that quick for you too?
Yeah.
It was like processing.
I figured I didn't expect there to be like, okay, like me like sit there like, okay, can you sit here like this and you like this and like this whole orchestration, but like at the same time I wasn't expecting it to just be like, okay, next person stand there, click, okay, next person stand there, click, okay, next person, and like I can only imagine that it was like even worse for like Shatner and Takei, because naturally they're going to have
Takei wasn't as bad because
a
he was
bigger pull.
he was in the hall, because they had it in 3 sections, right? There was like the A section, which Shatner was in, B section, and C section. What section was the Power Rangers in?
I don't even know. It was
The far left, the center, or the right?
the right.
Okay, so it was C section,
Sure.
just like the procedure.
I wasn't paying that much attention. I was just like, oh, I'm getting my picture with the Power Rangers.
Yeah, if I had a little more foresight, I would have brought money to get a picture with Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
From the Karate Kid.
Talked psych with him.
Oh, you did?
I didn't, but
Oh.
one of my friends did, and he was so excited because
Somebody
no one-
wasn't mentioning
yeah, exactly,
Karate Kid.
because that's all he hears, just Karate Kid, and so
What about My Cousin Vinny, guys?
Yeah, right. What about the Crossroads movie? Yeah, no one remembers that one. Yeah,
No, you got
he plays a kid who makes a deal with the devil to become a better guitar player.
Of course.
And then like
Pick
it
a
ends,
destiny status.
Yeah, and it ends with this beautiful like like dueling banjos-esque thing with him going against the devil or the devil's avatar, playing guitar, and like there's like blood coming off dude's fingers as he's playing because he's playing for his soul. It's so good. I'm gonna look up the title.
But nobody's talked to him about that either.
I'm sure. I watched it in my guitar class with Mr. Burke.
Yeah.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
think
so
we
you
watched
probably
that.
watched it.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk
But
amongst yourselves.
I
while
would
look up
because
this
I
movie.
have Karate Kid on the NES, which was actually my gateway to the Karate Kid. It wasn't the movies. It wasn't even that fucking song "You're the Best."
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah.
the best around.
That's the one. It wasn't that.
Better, but that's
Yeah,
the
it
one.
was the NES game, which sucked.
Oh, I saw the AVGN episode.
Like even as a kid, I was like, "Fuck this!" Like little, just like
I'm gonna watch the movies that this
Yeah.
is based on.
yeah. For some reason, that was like okay. Karate Kid Part 2 is my favorite Karate Kid movie.
It's probably the best one in my opinion.
I like the one with Hilary Swank.
The next
'cause I'm in love
Karate
with
Kid?
because
Yeah.
I'm in love with Hilary Swank.
They're all right.
Oh, all right.
Seal of approval.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, because we're not talking about.
I mean, they are enjoyable. They're
Oh,
just
it's literally called Crossroads. And it was made in 1986.
see that I'd be more excited to see. That would be in the kind of style of film I'd want
Well,
to
I
see.
highly recommend everyone watch it because it was really good.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
on IMDb right now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you did you not like the? So you just found them like satisfactory?
Well, they were movies.
I
They were
didn't
made.
waste my money.
I watched them, but they weren't.
All true statements. Yeah.
Well, we don't know that
About
he
that
watched
last
it.
one. Yeah.
But they aren't
That's
the kind of film
conjecture.
I go out of my way to see multiple times or go out and own, like, once it comes out on, like, Blu-ray or something like that.
Well, what is your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Or-
Next, you'll tell me you're not excited for episode 7.
The only Crossroads that's on Netflix right now is
Britney
the Britney
Spears?
Spears Crossroads.
with Justin Long.
Yeah.
Where her dad's
It is-
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
BT Dubs, it is not that Crossroads.
No Satan in that film. I mean, I know he was involved
Dan
Dan
Aykroyd's
Aykroyd's
her
in
dad.
for making it, obviously. But does he actually star in it?
Yeah. So I mean, that was I got to pick up some cool back issues. I don't know if you got any art or collectibles.
I did get a couple things. One of my friends, Zach, who longtime listener of the show,
Peter Quilling.
Yeah, he was on Saturday. But he picked me up a Furiosa print that one of his friends did. It's chilling out behind Josh. And then there's a cool. It's behind the Star Trek animated series Laserdisc box.
Shit,
set.
I'm looking at Shatner's face.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a write-up that my dad gave me for Awesome Con. But yeah, if you guys want to look at that print, it's pretty cool. And then I got a cool Mulder and Scully thing that was done by the guy who is currently writing Season 10, the comic book, Season 10 for the X-Files. And a cool bombshell Harley as if it were like painted on a World War II bomber plane. And then I finally picked up all 3 issues of Emerald Twilight instead of just the final issue. I wasn't going to get all 3 of them because I was like, I already have
nice,
the
very
third
nice.
one. But then the guy that was selling them, the 3rd issue was so perfect condition that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll have all 3. And it was only like $5, so boom.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I got some Flash. Like I got the Trial of the Flash, which is the end of the Barry Allen run. It's what he does right before he gets killed in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I got
Spoiler.
yeah, by
30-year-old spoiler.
30 fucking years. The
Exactly 30 years.
yeah, 30
Well,
years. Well,
Some change because he
dies in issue 7.
Is it 7?
Somewhere around there.
Which is like
Issue 6 is the death of Supergirl, and I think he dies in the next issue.
yeah. So
They're
that
just
would
like,
be like
fuck 'em, fuck
November 85
Yeah,
ish.
somewhere
Because
there.
it started in April of 85.
Yes.
I know because like that's my claim to fame. I'm like, I'm exactly as old as Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There you go.
Even though it probably can't.
You know who's going to be at Wizard World Richmond?
who?
Marv Wolfman, writer of The Crisis on Infinite
Oh, maybe I
Earths.
can bring my hardcover
There you go.
I'll get all
Bam.
the copies of Vigilante I can find.
or the single issues that I have of it,
Yeah. Oh,
which I know where all 3 of them are now.
you're going to want this. That that big box of long box of comics that I'm sorting
Yeah.
By the way, he's talking to Jake for
Yeah.
everyone not here in the studio.
has at least one issue of Marv Wolfman Vigilante.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the one the guy just dropped off a while back?
Like months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you want it.
I
yeah.
do, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, I got some Flash. I got a shitload of Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that was dollar issues.
I just remembered. Sorry, I was
Like
for
a
everyone,
puppy.
Yeah, for everyone not here looking at me, I was like, I got giddy and my arms were shaking for a little bit. So Chuck P of Fight Club fame was in the area. He was like in Maryland doing a signing at a Books A Million.
Oh.
And
Oh, they still got those?
randomly decided to swing by AwesomeCon like on Saturday morning, very early in the morning, and went to the Books A Million booth, which I didn't even know they had a booth until I randomly walked past it, and saw a stack of Fight Club 2 issue number 1 signed by Chuck P, because he decided to randomly drop in and sign like 50 copies and then just left them there on the table. And like I was literally
cool.
just like walking down the aisle and then what? So I now have issue number 1 of
Did
Fight
you
Club
read it?
2. I haven't read it yet.
I mean, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Have you heard any buzz at the shop?
And people were excited about it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Did they actually buy it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, mine's signed by Chuck P. So
There
Very
you
cool.
go.
Very cool.
But, you
I
know,
wish I knew how to pronounce his last name.
Palahonic.
Palahonic? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember last year or 2 years ago, I was like, I really want to meet Dave Grohl. And I fucking
Yeah.
met Dave Grohl out of like fucking nowhere. And when Leonard Nimoy died a couple months ago, I was like, I have to meet William Shatner. And this was before they announced him for AwesomeCon, and I've now met William Shatner. So I really want to meet.
How are you going to use your godlike powers?
Yeah.
now?
There's only one.
Yeah.
Where's your god now, Sam?
Do I only get it every 2 years?
Yeah.
Or do I have to wish upon a star like Gene Simmons?
Oh.
Do you want to meet Gene Simmons?
Nah. He's in Europe right now with Kiss. They're doing a European tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was just sitting there driving.
Meet Vinnie Vincent.
If you, all you man.
Just hide dogs from him.
Yeah. Call the police if you see Vinnie Vincent
Yeah.
walking the streets. He needs help.
But I'm sitting there driving because I had to go to a
Sounds
wedding.
like song lyrics.
Yeah, it's not like a Warren Zevon song. I was driving to, from DC to this wedding in Culpeper the same day, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I just had like a great fucking day. Like, I got to meet William Shatner, and I got to get some Master of Kung Fu, and I'm gonna get to watch my friends get married, and they've got an open bar, so I'm gonna get like fucked in half. It's gonna be
Shit
awesome.
fucked in half.
Shit fucked in half. But
In a
yeah, I
half
mean,
shell.
and speaking of which, you both of you guys watched your respective brothers get married.
Yeah.
Since the last show. How did
Yeah.
that go?
So it was a beautiful, beautiful wedding, said the bridemaid to the waiter.
But as a
Sorry.
poor groomsman is Remember in the video they had to like censor horror?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, the poor groomsman is a shh. And like,
Yeah.
it's in the video and it's
Yeah.
just so out of place and stupid.
I feel like they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Brandon Urie.
Yeah.
Right? So personally, I had a terrible experience because I was a little under the weather, and it was an outdoor wedding, which are very...
Southwestern Virginia, right?
Yes. Yeah, Roanoke specifically. Beautiful, beautiful area. Wasn't humid, which is great. So like the shade actually did something, and we lucked out and we were all in the shade. But I was already... but I was already kind of under the weather from AwesomeCon because I
Hot in
get
the Shade, a Kiss album.
I get con plague very easily, apparently. But
All those snotty cosplayers running around in their
Wiping their
Despicable
boogers on
Me costume. I saw so many minions.
So did I. Probably because of the Minions movie. But yeah, so I was already feeling kind of sick, and I was like, I don't want to eat anything. I don't want to drink anything. I don't even want to stand. So like I was just kind of like miserable, and this is gonna get a little gross, but I threw up a lot in my hotel room the night between the rehearsal and the actual wedding. So I was just like during the entire service. But
And it was probably a Catholic mass, wasn't it?
no, actually it wasn't. That was I was fortunate there because the Catholic wedding would not be held outside. It would be in a church. which would have been better for me, because air conditioning and whatnot, climate control, no bugs, and all that jazz. But so yeah, luckily it was not a proper Catholic wedding, so it was only like 15 minutes long. Very much, hey Kurt, hey Cassandra, you do cool. Pour this sand. Representing the bonding.
They did
people.
that at my brother's wedding.
Yeah, they did the Batman 66 ending.
Oh yeah,
where all the powder people get mixed together.
Yeah, and it symbolizes that you can never separate the sand perfectly ever again, and if you do, you end up speaking the wrong language. Yeah,
Batman 66 commentary available on our website.
Yeah, don't listen to it.
Download it through iTunes.
Download it, but just don't listen to it.
Give us the numbers, but don't judge us.
Don't actually play it.
Yeah.
Hit mark as played on your podcast.
Exactly.
Download it, then delete it.
Yeah, there you go.
Jake, how was your wedding?
It was good.
I hope it was better than
it was
mine.
very.
Like,
it was
for you. It was better.
It was. It was. It was down in off Tybee Island, but we went to the Savannah, which is funny because a couple things. We drove down. My mom, dad, and my sister and I, and I have driven through Savannah and stuff to go to Florida a couple times in the past, but I haven't stopped and walked around Savannah in almost exactly 20 years. Like we moved June, I think, of 1995, the beginning of June. Like my sister was just born. And so I really was telling everybody, hey, the newest movie in the theaters was Braveheart, like because it came out like the end of May of '95. So much so that I worked it into the toast, and tried to pretend that we were going to actually sit there and watch a 3-hour movie as a premiere. I was like, and now I think my dad
I would do some.
My dad did
like
an awkward.
wedding.
My dad did like an awkward laugh, and like a what? Because my sister was getting
indulged you.
Yeah, my sister was getting annoyed because I was telling everybody. I would walk up to them and be like, "Man, it's so crazy! Like the last time I was down here, like the newest movie in the cinemas was Braveheart." And I remember everyone was like, "What?"
That was your icebreaker.
Yeah, Braveheart, man.
And everyone was like, "Why do you care?"
Yeah. And my sister was like, she was always happened to be next to me whenever I was saying that. She was just like, "God, who cares?" And I was like, "I do." Anyway, it was a lot of fun, man. Like. I don't see my brother as much as I used to, obviously.
Yeah, that was another thing, too. I haven't seen my brother in probably, 3 to 5 years.
Oh, it hasn't been that.
It was not. Well, he lives all the way down. Well, he recently moved back up to Roanoke when he met Cassandra, but, he was living in, North Carolina.
Gotcha. Because Roanoke's only 3.5 hours. It's like a 3.5 hour drive, but the funny thing is,
it's a beautiful drive
down
81.
It is, yeah.
No matter what time of day.
It could be boring, but it is pretty. But the funny thing is, real quick, I went to Roanoke College. Roanoke College is not in Roanoke. No. So you would think if you're driving down 81, you get off at exit, was it 143, 141 around there for Roanoke? But it's actually 140 for Salem. So Roanoke College isn't even in Roanoke, which that was funny.
It's like how Centerville High School's in Clifton.
Yeah, that's true. I just keep doing those kind of schools.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got down. We got down Wednesday, and the wedding wasn't until Saturday, but the rehearsal stuff obviously Friday. So we had 2 days to kill. So
A View to a Kill.
Oh yeah, 3 days to kill, starring Kevin Costner
and Amber Heard.
Yeah. Oh yes. How could I forget the lovely Amber Heard? Seriously though. Seriously.
Gorgeous.
Amber, if you're listening.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
Loved you in Drive Angry.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage, my old friend.
Cage in Ghost Rider 3 Drive Angry.
That wasn't part of your Cage-a-thon?
I didn't get to that one. I may.
Angry was so
Every
good.
so often, I'm like, man, I want to watch some Nicolas Cage again.
William Fitchner was the devil.
Yeah.
Totally serious. I feel like that was the best Ghost Rider movie.
Well, I want to watch. I want to watch The Weatherman again. That's when I did the marathon. That's my honest to God favorite Nicolas Cage movie.
One of the Voodoo movies sales of the month is the first Ghost Rider.
The thing is, I would be
Face Off is on Netflix.
I'd be all about buying Ghost Rider, but here's the psycho thing. There is a double disc version they did that's extended, and I was like, I would buy it just to have the $5 super duper Ghost Rider, because the
ultimate Ghost Rider.
First of all, I love Ghost Rider. Secondly, there's nothing that's as good as it gets. And
the movie it's good.
Indeed. There's a flaming skull in that one as well. And I remember I was talking to somebody about they're trying to hey, maybe they'll make the TV show Ghost Rider about being realistic. It's actually my buddy Vernon who listens to the podcast. Our buddy Vernon, and I was like, how are you going to do it realistic? Blah blah blah. And I was like, at the end of the day, you got to get to a flaming skull. So there's not much. Reality kind of goes out the window after a while. Like he's dealing with
they
it.
could Smallville it.
Yeah, he can go into both worlds. Ghost Rider's going into both worlds. Like one of the only
He
dudes.
rides between both worlds.
I'm the only one who can walk into both worlds. I'm Ghost Rider, which survives the trailer and is in the movie. And that scene is just awesome and stupid.
And he's
like,
also knocking at the door.
yeah. Well, we don't talk about the second one.
I do.
Yeah, that's a Chris movie.
It's a bad movie.
It's so bad. It's not like it's.
I watched it once and I was like, all right, I've watched it.
I say this like I joke about this with a lot of movies, but honestly, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the best parts of the movie. Like that's it. There's nothing that
For Spirit of Vengeance.
Spirit of Vengeance, yes. For the first Ghost Rider, I actually do legitimately enjoy the scenes where he's Ghost Rider. When he's like on the bike and he's like driving in the water laughing and he like flicks off the cops. He's like ha ha ha. And it's like metal's playing and then like there's some cool stuff. Anyway,
Sounds like knockoff Mastodon.
yeah, yeah.
Isn't everything knockoff Mastodon?
Do you know Mastodon did the score to Jonah Hex?
Yeah,
Oh.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, and it was
Another,
just-
another
that was like
terrible
the
comic
best-
book movie.
That was the best part about Jonah Hex.
I couldn't finish that movie, and I rented it for free at Blockbuster.
It wasn't the fact that John Malkovich was trying to destroy Washington D.C. with basically explosive Dragon Balls?
I don't even know if I got that far. Dude. I was just like, nope.
I don't remember that part of the movie, and I've seen the entire thing.
But yeah, back,
All I remember is that the effects on his scar was really good.
it
And
should have been
then-
Thomas Jane, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
Thomas Jane for everything.
yeah, seriously. But back to the wedding. 'Twas lovely, 'twas lovely indeed. But no, we walked around like they filmed Forrest Gump down there, so they had the bench that they moved, the courtyard or whatever. So it was kind of nice to see. And the hotel was in the walking distance of all the restaurants and stuff. And Thursday was nice. It was kind of just me, my sister Denise, and Mick. The groom. We kind of just had like the three of us went out and kind of just hung out and had kind of like a last before the new. Bring Brooke into the family as a sister-in-law. And then Friday was the rehearsal dinner. And I was best man, so there was like some duties and like getting things together and being in the right place, practicing taking the fake ring out of my pocket, for the actual day. That was like the big thing.
The hangover thing.
Yeah. My sister and I watched the Scrubs episode where Turk gets married and the episode where Jim and Pam get married the night before, just to be like, all right, so this is what could go wrong. But so when it was actually the rehearsal dinner, it was at the bottom. It was in the basement of a bar. There's actually two rehearsal dinners going on because we walked in and we're like, here for the rehearsal dinner, and they were like, which one? And then there's clearly like the Bozick Douglas downstairs. We're like, okay. And so it was nice. I gave the first of two toasts at that one. And just good food, good people. Brooke's side of the family is very, very Southern, so it's very funny having them interact because it's just, just such a different kind of everything.
I bet their favorite baseball team's the Braves.
It's maybe. Well, it was. Maybe, I don't know. That didn't come up.
Because it's racially insensitive?
Well, no. It's the
No,
Atlanta
because
Braves.
They're in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. The Atlanta
Sorry,
Braves.
sorry the way you said it made it sound like you were like a huge indictment of the South.
No.
I bet you their favorite team is the local team.
Yeah, which is basically what he said. Because Chris was looking at him like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I was like, "It's cool. The Braves. I mean, I don't like the Braves, but they're not like
Same division as the Nationals.
How dare you say anything? Nationals are nothing.
Yeah.
But it was a good time.
Natitude.
Yeah, get your natitude on.
Yeah. Just like Steven Strasberg.
Drink some natty light. Oh.
Please
I
don't.
always found it ironic that the Orioles their regular beer is Natty Bo, National Bohemian.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it's got like a knockoff Pringles man as its mascot, and it
Pringles
tastes
man.
like ass
Tastes like Pringles.
with Olean.
Yeah. But in classic fashion, the Bozick clan rolled in and drank all the Yingling in the bar. There was no more Yingling, and at one point we're like, "Oh, time to go." And me and my brother and I and the groomsmen and stuff, we went out and went to one of the local bars and all took a big shot before, just to kind of have a thing, find a little howdy doody. And I remember we all looked at each other and I was just like, I don't do shots anymore, but I remember just like, oh God, But we walked around Savannah. It was just nice, and the wedding went off without a hitch. There was no problems. I remember I was so nervous about the ring disappearing from my pocket because that's the big thing the best man does. You present the rings.
It's the only thing you're good for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other duties, but I just didn't do them. I mean, well, no. It was a very well planned wedding, so that I didn't have much to do outside of like the toast and make sure Mick got there and wasn't like wasted and the ring. So I remember like all throughout the ceremony, I was thinking like the ring just disappeared somehow from my pocket. Like I'm gonna reach in, it's not gonna be there. Like that's because that's the only thing I got going for me. And so when he's like, "Present the rings, please," I remember I reached in. Obviously it was there, but my hand was sweaty and it stuck to the inside of my pocket. And I just pulled out my entire pocket and I was like, "Here you go, son." And we were joking that like lint falls out and like just like
just whatever you've got,
chewed
up gum.
Yeah, chewed up gum.
Yeah, stuff that should be on the the bottom of your shoes. But
Yeah,
it's in your
yeah.
pocket
It's in your
for some
pocket to
reason.
save for later, just for fun.
Yeah.
And none of that happened. But so again, the wedding was really wonderful, and it's weird because it sounds cheesy, but it's nice to get emotional about things like at a wedding. Like you just don't think about it, and like the weight of it didn't hit me until because my brother's he's younger than me by 3 years, but I always joke he's the older brother. Because he's just taller and he's just more responsible and stuff. And he's getting married before me. But that wasn't like
it's not a race.
well, it's not. But I mean, we all knew that was going to happen in the first place. And
I knew it.
Yeah. And but it's weird. It didn't really hit me until it hit me kind of at the rehearsal, but it really didn't hit me until we're standing out there, like standing up in front of everybody and Mick's there in his his blues because he's in the army and the doors open and Brooke comes down. I was like, this is like really crazy. And then we had the reception afterwards was a lot of fun, and it was cool, man. It's weird because they always say like your wedding day goes by like in a flash. Like it wasn't even my wedding, and it went by like that week went by super fast, and it was like a lot of fun. But we had a brunch the next Sunday or that the next day, just as like a final goodbye to everybody, and my Uncle Mark was there, and my Uncle Mark's like, I don't know, a legend of the Bozick family for just many reasons. But he's the reason I'm a big Red Wings fan because my dad was born in Detroit along with my Uncle Mark. But my Uncle Mark like clung to the Detroit teams for still to this day, like everything Detroit. And so the Detroit Red Wings rubbed off on me. And so, we were dressed like, he would go to a church brunch, like nice, like collared shirts, khakis, and he shows up in a Red Wings t-shirt, and I was like, "Your Sunday's best, Uncle Mark." But here's the thing, like if anyone like this, for me, for some reason, this sums up like a bit of the Bozick family ridiculousness. I'm like just looking around and there's like 80, 90 people maybe at the brunch, a bunch of tables, and I'm just looking around to see, everyone's full, everyone's sitting down having a good time, see who's made it, see who's here, and I'm just looking around like the left to right, and I'm looking over, and all of a sudden I lock eyes with my Uncle Mark, and one of the reasons I lock eyes with him is because he's giving me this like shit-eating grin. He's just looking at me like he's been staring at me, and I look at him and he just goes, and he gives me the finger, and I was like, this. I remember I laughed, I did this like cough laugh, and I just laughed really loud because it was perfect. I mean, this is the guy who like he wants to be like cordial and like polite around my mom, and he was like eating like little tiny pretzels, like bite-sized pretzels, and he was throwing them in his mouth and just like chewing them, and my mom walked up to say hello, and right when he threw a pretzel in his mouth, so he spit it out into his hand. He's like, "I'm doing lovely, thanks for asking." He threw the pretzel back in his mouth. I mean, I could do a whole.
Is he the one that listens to us?
No, that's my Uncle George, and he was there. So Uncle George, love you. Had a good time. Thanks for the cigar. And he's a massive Daredevil fan. We talked a lot about Daredevil. He collected the comics since he was a kid, Captain America since he was a kid, and the Avengers. So that was fun to talk to him about that. And he was the one who, my cousin Audrey is a huge Doctor Who fan, and the episode that got my Uncle George into Doctor Who was the Vincent Van Gogh episode. And so him and I.
Vincent Van
Gogh. Yeah. We're USA and we pronounce it wrong, so that's how I'm going for it. I've always heard Vincent Van Gogh since I was a child, and so I don't know. Anyway,
you can Vincent Van Gogh fuck yourself.
Yeah,
just pronounce it like a Klingon would.
And and so anyway, so I don't know how we've been drinking like all day. So I was drunk, and I was explaining to my cousin Cheap, and my Uncle George and I back and forth were explaining to him like line by line how great that episode is, and I convinced myself like, man, I want to watch that episode again. But no, I mean it was a really good time. Like, everyone stayed at the same hotel, so like all throughout the week we'd see each other, go out, hang out, have a good time. It was really like tough to leave because it was a week off from work. It was fantastic. It's always like a jarring thing out, after a vacation, getting thrown back into reality. It's kind of a bummer, but it was great, man. It was a good time.
Josh, you do anything out of the ordinary?
I saw a few movies.
I saw one of them with you.
Yes, Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, which really reminded me of Tron Legacy and John Carter, in that it didn't really, I think.
Disappointed?
Well, I feel like, well, it certainly disappointed like Disney when they were like looking at box office, right? They were like, they expected all three of those films to do better. The difference is I like Tron Legacy and John Carter a lot more than I like Tomorrowland.
See, I love Legacy. I love Tomorrowland. Carter didn't look appealing at all.
Carter, did you ever see it?
No.
Oh,
Legacy's the only one that I've seen out of those three.
Carter is, just real quick, Carter's like, it's got its problems.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be as long as it is.
No, but it's so much. It's a lot of fun, and I'm a Taylor Kitsch fan, obviously, but like, it was just, I don't know. I got swept up in like the adventure of it, which is, all the jokes were like, oh, it's ripping off Star Wars and ripping off Superman, and it's like, no, this was like, when it came out, it was the 100th anniversary of the novel coming out.
Like its source material was a hell of a lot older.
Yeah, I mean, like it's what inspired, Superman. It's what inspired
Doc Savage.
Yeah, all the great pulp characters and all like the Star Wars stuff. James Cameron and everybody. So I feel like watching that movie, it captured for me what John Carter, kind of the adventure of it.
Yeah, I thought.
But unfortunately, I didn't see it in theater, so I was part of the problem. I bought it on DVD, but it's a bummer because the sequel would have been like the Mamma Jamma one.
Well, it's something I don't understand. Like when Disney makes films like this, and like they're really, really great works of art, but the audience they intend to make it for never goes to see these films.
Well, they also pulled the plug on it quick, man.
Yeah.
Like they saw in the first week that it wasn't making projected, and so they were like, "Let's count our."
They buried it as quickly
But-
as
Yeah,
they
wasn't-
pulled the
it wasn't
marketing.
making hand over fist.
Hand over fist.
Like I'll be
flapjacks,
like when Tron came out,
hotcakes.
it was great to watch, but no one really thought the movie was ever going to be anything more than like a spectacular effects show. And then it got a sequel, which to this day I will forever be surprised, but glad that it did.
Yeah.
I remember the biggest, and I think a lot of this, what I'm about to say, has to do with because they're like my favorite band, or of the 21st century. But I remember all I heard about Tron when it came the Tron Legacy was that Daft Punk was doing the score. Like that was like the biggest thing that everyone was talking about. It wasn't even the fact that Tron got a sequel. It was like the Daft Punk. Oh, how perfect! Daft Punk's doing a soundtrack.
Getting a cameo.
Yeah, and that's seriously the reason I bought the movie, just to see like their name in the credits. And I enjoy the movie too, but it's funny enough, it's like my least favorite thing they've done. But like, and that's not saying I hate it. It's just
Really? You like it less than them joining Tidal?
oh God, no. I'm talking about music they've made. No,
It's the worst album they've
I
put
don't
out.
want. Yeah, no, I don't want
Just
to
wait
talk
till they
about
make
Tidal.
music, especially just for Tidal.
Well,
like
we'll never
the-
hear it.
The Tidal album.
Though they did say everything they make for Tidal they'll release separate.
I feel like
things for it.
honestly
Decades
feel
later.
like they're a band about control, obviously, and it makes sense and good on them, whatever, all that good stuff. But like they're obviously like friends with like Jay-Z and Kanye and stuff.
Certainly Kanye.
So
yeah.
it's kind of that thing where they're like, hey man, don't be dicks. Come over.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, whatever, man. We dress up as robots.
But
Yeah, we
know,
dress up as robots. Who cares?
Tomorrowland has a really great message behind it, and it's just a beautiful story. But the fact that no one went to really go and see it just
Well, yeah.
I mean, you and I were there opening night, right?
Not for Tomorrowland.
I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking about Tron Legacy.
Attention,
So I-
Chris. God damn it.
Speaking French.
Oui.
But,
Fuck
Sorry,
you.
sorry, that took too many brain pellets to.
and the fact that even after how Legacy did, and the sequel was apparently going to start, and then very quickly get killed.
See, this is why I thought he was just talking about Tron. Like with Josh, it's like half the time he's talking about Tron Legacy, other half the
yeah.
time just like random shit.
Yeah,
like Arrow.
the special effects of Legacy were just great, but
I like
when George
Legacy.
Clooney shows up in Tomorrowland, it's just
that's when like George Clooney, like, so Tomorrowland starts out at least in my opinion, starts out very good. I mean, it's visually well shot throughout.
Yes.
About
George Clooney show.
Well, no, about a third of the way, you get the dumbest action scene I've seen in the movies.
Which isn't Clooney's fault.
Is it the one in the trailer where he's like fighting people that are entering his house?
No, but that's every action scene in this movie fucking sucks.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it.
Damn.
Well,
Like
I
the
will
stock
agree with-
villains are the
Yeah.
worst stock villains I've ever
Oh, it is
seen.
a
They
Disney
are the
movie.
definition of a stock villain. If you actually
Yeah,
think
they're
about
so
what they are.
fucking bad.
Damn.
And
They're like worse than like Spectre cronies.
I'll take Spectre cronies. I'll take putty men. I'll take stormtroopers. I'll take Klingons. I'll take anything in the fucking. I'll take Cenobites. I'll take Deadites. I will take any.
I got a little offended with that Cenobites. They're all very unique,
Well,
except for Chatterer 2 and Chatterer 3.
And they're all
Who can forget Chatterer 2 and Chatterer 3?
Or the CD player.
I do love Chatterer.
But
He's my favorite.
they were the worst stock villains I'd seen. It was some of just the weirdest, dumbest, just straight up dumbest action sequences I'd seen in a major motion picture for a while. Visually very well shot. And
I think I know what you mean by dumbest, but elaborate a little bit what.
Okay, keep in mind, I saw in this movie, or in this year, I've seen a movie where Paul Walker drives a sports car between two skyscrapers twice.
Yeah.
And the difference is the action sequences in Furious 7, even as ridiculous as it is, a sports car parachuting out of a cargo plane, it works. It feels organic in that universe, you know. It doesn't feel forced. The action scenes in Tomorrowland come out of nowhere, and they're just fucking dumb. They're just so uninspired. But when George Clooney shows up again, it's like, oh, we're course correcting. Awesome. Well done, George Clooney. And then we get two action scenes with the stock bad men. I'm like, fuck you. But then they go to the Eiffel Tower, and it's like, okay, this is cool again. And then the stock bad men show up. I'm like, fuck you again.
Yeah.
But so I would give Tomorrowland a C+.
B.
Okay. All right.
It was a movie.
It was made.
It was a movie that was made, and then
I
I
saw
saw it. That's the best Justin. Well,
Those
it
are
was
all
made,
true.
and I saw it.
And we can actually verify. I can verify, at least in Josh's case, that he saw it because I was right next to him.
Yeah, and I was giggling like a little idiot the entire time.
Oh, just like when we went and saw Ex Machina, and they did. Who are you gonna call?
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
I don't know. Sam, you could probably track where I started in the film and probably didn't stop until the end credits. Giggling.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any cool previews?
You have to keep in mind it was a PG-rated Disney film,
You know.
so you get all their Disney nature fare
Oh, okay. They
and
didn't.
that sort of
okay.
thing, and they're
Oh, it's PG.
yeah, and the religious the new wave Christian concert films.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, there wasn't any good previews.
You don't want to go see the New Age Christian concert film?
Actually, I'll take that back. They did show the trailer to Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That happened.
yeah, even though
It was a thing.
yeah, for Josh, it's on the same level as the new age Christian concert films.
It is a movie.
Yeah,
I'd probably see it at some point.
yeah.
They made it.
But you also saw Spy, right?
Yes. God, that was really, really well done.
Does Melissa McCarthy finally kind of mix up her role?
well,
Because that's my big. I don't mind the actress, but I feel like she needs to exhibit a bit more range.
Well, here's the thing. I saw Bridesmaids. She was hilarious as herself in that, but it was an ensemble film, so you kind of had everyone carrying that film around. The Heat, I saw it, really didn't enjoy it, but that was probably because of Sandra Bullock. And as much as Melissa McCarthy tried, she couldn't save that film from the awfulness that was Sandra Bullock's acting in it.
So much Sandra Bullock hate. She's a local girl.
Yeah,
She was born and raised in Arlington.
She was in Speed and Speed
in
2.
The Net.
Yeah,
Net.
Time to Kill.
Yeah, well, Speed thankfully had the Keanu.
And apparently most of the dialogue written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so that might have been why she was better in that.
Yeah.
But
I hear it's Jason Statham that steals the show in Spy.
yes. You
As
see,
he should.
well,
He should steal everything.
Like he does in Furious 7, if I'm to be honest.
seeing him kind of
For me, anyway.
be allowed to just be extremely stupid and just no script, just be exaggerant as you want to be. He does really, really well in the role he's given. But seeing Melissa McCarthy actually have a solo comedy to really carry on her own, she does extremely well for it.
Better than she does in Tammy or Identity Theft.
Yes.
Better
What?
than she did in Gilmore Girls.
When you're out on the run. They reunited and it was awesome.
Again,
She was in Gilmore Girls.
I know, I remember. It was like
I love how everyone looked at me like I was sitting here and they're just like Gilmore Girls and they all turned.
Wait for it. We've
Jake
invoked.
was literally just sitting back,
Let's see
looking
if
at
they
something
can-
on his phone.
Yeah, I was looking at pictures of the Chatterer, my favorite Cenobite, and I was just like, oh yeah, Gilmore Girls. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to wait for the conditioning to kick in. But you know,
All those seasons.
seeing her have a project like this and just cut loose, it was really, really well done. I'm
Did
happy
she
for her.
put on her Sunday shoes?
Footloose.
Yeah, but well, that's good. Glad you enjoyed it. You know, recently, so first wave reactions to Jurassic World have been good, and as much as we've seemed to disown the film, I mean that means basically all of us.
We did get the Jurassic Smash Blizzards
Oh, it was,
at Dairy
It was
Queen.
good.
it was
Yeah,
delicious.
it was pretty good.
I should tweet Pratt and tell him that he's got the best Blizzard, the best summer dessert of
Every
the year.
bite's an adventure.
Yeah,
Except Josh. Josh decided to abstain.
yeah. He hasn't even finished his.
Barely even started.
Yeah,
He's like, I saw it, and I drank it.
it's
It
a
was-
drink.
It was a milkshake.
with coffee. But apparently James Cameron's given his glowing endorsement to Terminator Genesis, which comes as a bit of a surprise. In the same featurette, he does disown Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation. He's just like,
Kind of makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, well, also, you gotta think, if they're interviewing him, obviously, for the film just about to come out, and they get him to say, yeah, I'm absolutely not gonna see this at all. I think it's just gonna be horrible. You gotta imagine they wouldn't want to interview him.
Having said that,
It does happen.
well, yeah, it's not like he did that for Terminator 3 or Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
but
very outspoken on
he was
being unimpressed with those.
Yeah.
But he was mentioned, he said that in an interview for films that had already come out. Correct?
No. I mean, I'm saying what I'm saying
Or
is,
saying he had
He
separate
disavowed the
interviews.
production of Terminator
yeah,
3.
he
if I remember
refused to
correctly.
give the director for Terminator 3 his blessing.
Oh.
You know,
I'm very vocal about it.
yeah. All he did
Much
was,
like Clive Barker in the later Hellraisers,
or
especially the most recent one.
or John Carpenter in was it Halloween?
Well, no, he gave him his blessing, but he basically Rob Zombie called John Carpenter because they're friends, and he's like, "Hey, man, I just Rob, as you do." He was like, "Hey, man, I just want to like let you know I'm doing Halloween before it gets out." And John Carpenter, in classic John Carpenter fashion, is like, "What do you want to say? Have fun."
I remember what it was. It was Wes Craven in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, yeah.
Because they brought him back as an executive producer for the Last House on the Left remake,
Yeah.
but they didn't, bring him back for.
Did
in
you guys
any production capacity?
Speaking of Wes Craven, did you see the new Scream mask for the new
Yeah.
it
TV
looks
series?
dumb, doesn't it?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it looks kind of
I didn't know they
creepy.
started releasing stuff for this.
They have a
series.
picture that I saw. Actually, I was watching Ridiculousness, that Rob Dyrdek show, and they showed a trailer for like the Scream TV series.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll watch the first episode. I'll see what happens.
I've also seen quite a bit of Teen
Scream
Wolf.
Queens.
No, it's just
Or
Scream.
straight up-
Scream the TV
Okay,
series.
because I know there's a Scream Queens show coming out on NBC.
Oh no, this
Yeah.
is on like,
Completely different.
MTV. I don't know. My first glance was like, yeah, it was kind of like Sam. I was like, yeah, that's dumb. Like the Ghostface killer mask is like
The point is, it's supposed to look like
A ghost.
like a spectral Macaulay
like
Culkin.
it's
like
like
it's from the Scream painting.
yeah. It's like
That's
iconic.
why it's called the Scream Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they asked Wes Craven, who's the executive producer on it,
right.
and he was
This
like,
thing?
yeah.
Oh, this looks stupid.
They were like,
Yeah.
Go look it up. It
No.
looks dumb.
Yeah.
they were like, it. I guess I don't know where they say this fits in the timeline, but like the mask, like, looks like that for a reason. So I don't know. I was
probably
never
get
honestly. I was never a
damaged.
huge Scream fan.
I've always been a huge Scream fan.
I like the
have-
first one. That's about it.
I have all four of them. I almost got
I like the first
Carrie
two.
Fisher to sign
Oh,
my
really?
copy of Scream 3.
Oh yeah. 'Cause-
But then I was like, I'm only going to pay for one signature, and it's
Yeah.
going to be on a Star Wars thing.
yeah.
yeah.
I like the first two Scream films quite a bit. Scream 3 is a little weird, but it's not a bad film. I never actually saw Scream 4.
It's
I
terrible.
own It's not terrible.
It's so bad, dude.
It's
I saw it.
not- It's pretty good. It has a terrible ending.
I saw it in theaters, and I remember
So did
like, oh god, I
If you'd
hated
like,
it.
Jake, if you'd like, I would love to like have a sit down conversation with you
Scream
about
off?
Scream. Yeah,
My Scream off is it sucked. That's all I can say about it.
Well,
Like I got nothing else to say.
But you
I
gotta
would
be
love. I
screaming
would
that
love to talk
at
to
'em.
someone else who like has seen it and talk about how I feel like it should have ended. And
I-
how,
Oh, the ending is dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending
Yeah.
is very dumb. I mean, here I liked
It's out for years. I know how it ends.
Okay.
Oh
So,
yeah. But I'm just saying it's stupid.
We've talked about
I'm
it
not-
on this show.
I'm not worried about
we?
spoiling.
Yeah, back during like our what was it?
Well, yeah, Chris talked about. I mean, I'm not worried about spoiling
whenever we
Scream.
had our big Season of the Witch episode.
Naomi
yeah.
Campbell should have died.
Yes.
And the series should have taken a turn and followed what's her name?
Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts trying to cover up the fact that she was the killer in
Yeah.
Scream 4.
Yes.
That would have been amazing. But then again, that's me having my same argument that I have at the end of every season of Arrow. They should have the balls to change flip the script. Same argument that I've had with Supernatural.
Yeah, I
at
was
the end
about
of
to say,
every
no, it's
season.
more Supernatural.
I would see it more with Supernatural.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
like, my thing was like Arrow. He's going to be the new Ra's al Ghul. Cool, make him the new Ra's al Ghul and have him be the villain of the show.
Racer cool.
Well, I
Yeah.
think if you went with him leading the League of Shadows or Assassins, what do they call it in Arrow?
League of Assassins.
Assassins.
League of Assassins. Okay.
Although I have a theory at some point,
It's all right, they
much
also
later on to
Play
discuss about that.
Play it out like Daredevil with Shadowland, except for make it good.
Yeah,
Where he's he tries to use it for good, but finds himself like using.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, have him actually lead it, not just be an elaborate plot.
Well, he tries to take control of it, but he finds, just like Daredevil and Shadowland, finds that it's beyond his control, and its effects are starting to control him. And then he has to, that's when the supporting cast has to jump in to save his ass.
Yeah, but now that Arrow has retired and inevitably will not be retired next season, it would be great if he stayed retired.
Yeah, well,
and
there's
just goes off with Felicity. And turn Arrow into Team Arrow.
Yeah, what if we rename the show Felicity, and then we find
And
out
it just becomes Felicity.
Yeah, what if we find out this entire time it was just a prequel to that fucking Kerry Russell show?
I met Kerry Russell at Awesome Con and
Where-
Casper Van Dien.
Kerry Russell wasn't
Or
there.
no, I'm sorry, not Kerry Russell.
Dinah Meyer was there.
The same curly hair. Sorry.
Yeah,
For a second, I
was like, what? No, I'd be like, the Americans, and I'd be like, Mission Impossible 3, with commentary available soon. The,
next month.
but more
right?
so on the Americans.
It'll post a week from Monday. Because next week's Mission Impossible 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we've already begun our countdown to Rogue Nation. So check that shit out. Also, thank you guys for, we are less than a week into the month, and we've already got, over 200 downloads, and we're already over 3,000 lifetimes. So thank you.
Yeah, keep spreading the word.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Read the, thanks for liking and retweeting the comics we recommend every
Yeah.
week, and
Get great feedback from that.
yeah, that's what we get the most visible feedback from.
Yeah.
Like, we see the numbers with the downloads,
Mhm.
but when we hear from you on our social media, puts a little little warm spot in my heart, and a little.
And thanks for all the comic creators who retweet us too.
Yeah. I knew where you were
A
going.
warm
Yeah,
spot in my heart and a warm spot in my pants.
Yeah, I was like, thank God Chris cut me off, but then he went ahead and
And
finished
then-
it,
yeah, no.
so it's still there.
Everyone knew it was coming.
Yeah,
Literally.
quite literally, sopping wet, as he put it. Your words.
Mr. Sam Stone, are you ready for your preview?
I'm ready for my close-up.
Your face shot.
But I think as kind of soon we'll have the 50th episode. We'll have it.
We should plan some sort of celebration to do at the
I think
on
it's
the
like
show.
it's either the end of this month or the beginning of July. I thought it was going to be next week. Then I looked at it. I was like, we still got a ways to go. And
More time to plan.
yeah, more. We'll have like confetti, which you won't be able to see because this is an audio podcast, and this was a stupid fucking idea, Sam.
We'll all wear tuxes
Yeah.
pointlessly.
Yeah.
That's another terrible idea, Chris.
Yeah. Do you guys have any terrible ideas for 50?
We should have an award show.
Yeah.
We could thank every fan by name.
Yeah.
We could do a thumb wrestling contest on the air,
Yeah.
so you could see that and not
Colorful
see it. It'd be
commentary
fantastic.
Yeah.
from Josh. Oh
Just-
yeah, he won.
Yeah, he's got a thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Arm wrestling.
his thumb's going left, and the other one's going the other way.
Yeah.
And then now they're switching back.
That did happen.
Oh, his
We
thumb.
could, we could
It's
watch
3.
some laser discs.
We could raffle something off.
Oh,
Actually, we could. We have tons of
We
posters.
could.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
guys want posters?
Yeah.
wait, what was that? Did they say yes?
Yeah. you know where our Twitter
Comment.
account
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a
Tweet us,
poster,
Facebook,
or hit up
clap
our Facebook.
twice right now.
Yeah.
You guys got to pay for shipping though. I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah. But the posters are free.
Yeah.
So
fuck it, I could cover the shipping.
Bam! You heard it here.
Oh well.
there you have it. So
Let's
we'll
fucking raffle some stuff off.
yeah. So let us know. We love to hear from you guys. It's been great, and we'll be back next week, and I'll have some stuff to talk about. For the sake of time,
Sure, we'll have things to talk about.
yeah. Well, maybe we'll have seen
something
Jurassic World.
somewhere.
Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. It's this Friday, right?
And I'll talk about my run-ins with a certain Brian Michael Bendis, and we'll even discuss what his favorite Indiana Jones film is,
Oh.
and how it's not actually Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh.
Thank God, Brian.
He
Anyway,
could have such better taste, Sam.
Brian.
Such better taste.
yeah,
Much taste.
yeah. Anywho, this has been another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam,
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
and we'll see you guys next week with another episode.
Good night, Eric Bana.
Thank you very much.